What's up? What's up? I hope everyone is having a glorious day or start to their day. And I pray that you are feeling loved, protected, and I just pray peace and wisdom, clarity and guidance over your heart, mind, spirit, soul, all that good stuff. I am excited to get into this podcast with you all. So for the very first time ever, let's go ahead and roll that intro. Hey guys, this is Maquita Donyel of Polished Pistol, and you have reached my podcast, Life Things. Here we talk about the things that happen in life, whether it be ups or downs, or moments in our lives that feel like they're going sideways. Most importantly, here we are safe, here we are free, and authenticity is the name of the game. Dude, I have a podcast. And this is gonna be fun. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? This is my episode 0. What that means is that I'm just going to give you all a bit of insight into who I am, this Maquita Donyel person, and what Life Things is all about. To give some of this insight into me and into the Life Things podcast, I'm going to answer a few questions. Question number 1, what is Life Things? What is it going to be about? And why did you start it? Okay, so the reason why I started this podcast, to take those conversations that were happening behind the scenes and in private on my couch, in the coffee room, in the coffee shop. What's a coffee room, girl? In the coffee shop and, various living rooms, there were these intimate and real conversations being had between myself and other women and other people in general, right? And that's the reason why I started polishedpistol.com. And that's the reason why I'm starting this podcast, to create another space that allows for real conversations to be had about real life things, and not have the conversation in a perfect way, but in an authentic way, in a way that is sincere and real and comes from that deep place that a lot of people are afraid to go to, because it's hard to find safe spaces and safe people to have these kind of conversations with and to have these moments with. Okay. We need words and conversations and discussions that add to us as people, as individuals, and as people functioning in this society with others, as friends and family members and parents, right? As individuals with a purpose on this earth. We need that soul stuff, not just the fun surface. I shouldn't even say fun, but not even just like the stuff like candy tastes really, really good at first and it burns off really, really fast. You need something that will sustain you through this life as a person. And that's why Life Things is here. The third part of that question, what is it going to be about? It's about life things. So it's not confined to a single topic. It is underneath the Polished Pistol brand umbrella. And the Polished Pistol brand is all about the empowerment of women, the support and recognition of women. And so the basis of Life Things will be that, the specific topics discussed within that, things that happen in life. Outside of that, it can't necessarily be categorized. Anything that's happening in my life or the lives of those that I interact with and I find that it is useful to share, it's going to be shared and it's going to be discussed. Next question. Why start a podcast now? I had been told for a while, like, girl, you should do a podcast, like by various close friends of mine, but it didn't really make sense for me. I wasn't really sure. I mean, I loved having these conversations, just connecting for a very brief time on a deep and genuine level. I love interactions like that. But I was kind of like, well, one, I don't know about committing to something like that because I usually have a lot of other stuff going on. And then 2, it's like, I don't want to just be talking to be talking. What really kind of pushed the podcast for now is the fact that I resigned from a full-time position, and I was realizing like there's no blueprint for this. And a lot of people discuss their failures after they've already succeeded and not while they're going through it. And it can be very daunting when you're going through it. It can be scary when you're making these decisions, out of faith and not having any physical, tangible thing in front of you. And in my experience, it can feel very alone because you are truly relying completely and totally on God's voice, the Holy Spirit, to lead you. And so it's not necessarily a person that is giving you instructions on what to do next. And as much as you want your closest friends to understand what it is that you're going through, really, you can only hope that they support what you're going through and the decisions that you're making, even when they don't make logical sense. If you're a person like me, right, that utilizes their planner, I love stability. I love planning things out. I'm the type of person that creates an itinerary for their vacations. Wasn't always necessarily that way, but I grew into that. And so then to have learned that and picked up that and saw that it was working, and to have to go back and, because I was over planning, I guess, and go back and like risk it all as a single mom at that, like it's no joke. It's real out here. So I just wanted to make sure that I also allowed a space that talks about the very just real things that happen in life and talk about it in a real way and talk about it while it's happening, as opposed to, 10 years ago, I made this decision to do such and such, and this is what I did to get through it, So that is what essentially really led this whole like putting out life things. This is not a how-to podcast. This is me simply speaking off my own experience and encouraging those that are invited to the show to do the same, to speak from a deep and authentic place when talking about or when discussing the various topics at hand. I don't believe in keeping those sorts of things to myself. I want to provide every bit of kind of advice or whatever that I'm given through my experience and through the conversations with others. I want to give that to people that can use it. Otherwise, I feel as though, this is kind of pointless. Like people on earth, I believe that we're here to do life together, that people need other people to get through it. And so I'm not going to keep stuff to myself, struggles or wins, when it can be beneficial to somebody else. And that's the basis of me starting Life Things. Question number 3, what topics are you going to discuss? The podcast Life Things isn't going to be limited to a certain range of topics or to certain topics. It's going to cover various things, and that's exactly why it's called Life Things, because that covers so many things, all based in women and all the things that we go through and deal with and interact with and overcome and just need to openly talk about in a safe space that encourages acceptance and understanding, authenticity, but in a way that is authentic, but not judgmental and not negative. Last question, why are many of the things that I do based in the empowerment of women? I noticed at the age of 8 years old that women were being treated differently simply because they were women, and that they had to deal with a lot of things that they were not given tools or support or advocates to help them through the things they were going through and validate the things they were going through. All right, so a little bit about me. I am a single mom of a middle schooler, and she is the most amazing child on the earth. Yeah, I know we all think that. Yeah, I love my little girl. It's the most important relationship to me in my life, and it's the motivation for a lot of the things that I do. First being becoming a single mom and getting out of an unhealthy relationship, to pursuing my goals and my dreams, wanting my daughter to see life in a way that is more, that is bigger, that allows her dreams and her visions to be fully accessible. I want to create a life for her where faith is a norm and not something that's so terrifying to keep doing over and over again, but it's just the thing that you do. And so through that and through her just excitement and belief in the things that I do and I put out, and her pride in the things that I do and put out, it is extremely motivating. Yeah, she's truly a gem. I am a follower of Jesus Christ. He is the homie, period. I'm a college graduate. I graduated with an English major, journalism emphasis, with a fashion merchandising minor. I chose that path. Originally, I wanted to be a journalist in countries where women didn't have a voice. And once I decided that I wanted to have a family, I also decided that being in a situation like that wasn't something that I was willing to do to possibly create a family without a mom. But I still wanted to be able to connect to women and still give women without a voice. And so I stuck with that major. I changed my minor to fashion merchandising because it's another way that I express myself and connect with others, especially women. I was given an opportunity to intern in New York. I became pregnant with my amazing daughter my sophomore year of college, and therefore decided not to pursue that internship and instead bogged down at my school so that I could get through my bachelor's degree without taking any time off. I am also a, drumroll please, a Leo sun, a Leo moon, and a Sagittarius rising. I mean, that's just the best combination there. God just put his magic on that dirt. I am also a Army brat. Was born overseas. I moved around quite a bit in the U.S. I mean, what else do people want to know? I mean, like, ooh. Okay, let's go into a segment. Wait, what's that smell? Something good. So like other things that I think would be useful. So yes, as I mentioned earlier, I started a blog called polishedpistil.com. That's polished, POLISHED, PISTIL, like the pistil of a flower. I started that blog quite some time ago, like a long time ago, maybe like, I don't know. It's terrible. I don't know how old my blog is. Hell, baby. Oh, and then one of my favorite parts of polishedpistil.com is interviewing various women across the country and the world. And it's called Pistil. It was called Pistil of the Month. I changed it to Featured Pistil, and it features women just doing the daggone thing. I find their stories to be practical and inspiring and relatable. So those stories are up there to inspire others to pursue what it is their purpose and their passions are. Other thing is I am a published author. Arthur, what is an Arthur? That is the character on the show called Arthur. I'm not that. I am a published author, and I have completed 2 books out of 3 for a poetry and short stories series. It's called Stories of a Polished Pistil, with the first book subtitle being Lace and Ruffles, the second book's subtitle being Unpaved. The first book has 3 book trailers that I directed and had really dope local artists contribute to. I would say the best thing about those books, outside of being able to connect with people in other parts of the world that I otherwise wouldn't have connected with, other than people telling me that they didn't start loving poetry until they started reading my poetry, which, sidebar, just reminds me to remind you that when you've been given directive to do something, just do it, because poetry was not by any means a plan or an idea that I had been having for many years, but the things that you decide to do affect others, and they can help others. So don't sit on it. But yeah, other than it being featured in cool things like TEDx Amsterdam Women and on cool blog sites, under people's captions, other than it being featured in a scholarly book by a professor out in the Midwest, I would say the dopest thing about creating these projects was the opportunity to collaborate with other dope artists. I mean, it was just so much fun and so much positive and real, I'm happy to be here energy. It wasn't competitive. It wasn't self-seeking. It was all to serve the final project, the final piece. And for that, I am forever inspired to continue collaborating with other dope, genuine, positive, filled with light artists. And so I do want to take a minute to just mention a few of those. Most of them are local. We have the photographer who did my photos, actually not for this purpose, but I did use it for my books. Her name is Alexa Janelle Aviles. She is one of my best friends. The book cover designer is Janelle Jordan. She is also one of my best friends. Bro, I know, I know. The videographer for the first 3 book trailers, they were directed by me. However, they were very nicely and professionally created and edited and more by a person by the name of David Sharp. The actors and actresses in the film were also very close friends, with the exception of one of the guys that played in the book trailer number 3. But the 2 women, Anar Dash2 and Jocelyn Palucho, amazing friends, very talented women that just really gave their all so that other people could enjoy it and get a true sense of the book. The music producer, his name is Justin Grant. He was a pleasure to work with. He understood what it was that I was looking for, the sounds that I wanted, and he provided those to me. Please do be sure to check out all of these artists. The other artist is the photographer that took the pictures for my second book on Amazon.com. Her name is Nadia Narcorda. She was the photographer actually at my best friend's wedding, doing her very first wedding. She is also just insanely talented. And she did the photographs for the Unpaved book. It was, just a lot of dope people to contribute to those projects. And the third one, there will be more dope artists to contribute to that too. In fact, I plan to have Janelle do the 3rd cover. I think she'll learn of that while listening to this podcast. She'll find this part maybe slightly enjoyable. Yeah. Well, guys, that brings us to the end of our very first episode. I am so glad to have you all here with me. And yeah, check out the next one. I hope you enjoyed it, but most of all, I'm very happy with it. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, homie. Because when it's real, and when it's authentic, and when you're happy with what you're putting out there, and it's rooted in your purpose, it's bound to connect with those that need to connect with it. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to create and connect with you. This is Life Things with Maquita Donyel of Polished Pistol. You can follow me on social media at Maquita Donyel. That's on Instagram, Facebook, etc. You can follow future blog posts and check out the old blog post on polishedpistol.com. And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.